Yeah, namaste to all of you and a very warm welcome to this evening's Zoom call. Every year, every day we are doing this for the past 25 days. Today is the 25th call we are doing. And we are privileged to have Sri Muralidhara Rao Garu, National General Secretary of Bharatiya Janata Party on the call today. Friends, he is no stranger to any of you, especially from Telangana. He is from our state. We all know him as a politician, as somebody who's been very close to all of us. But the fact remains that he's also a finance professional. He is just not a politician, but he's also having a financial pedigree with him. And then he worked in Swadeshi Jagran Manch for 16 years, which is known to have worked very deeply, very closely with MSME. So his knowledge of the on-ground situation of economy is something which is very crucial for us. And of course, now he's in politics as well. So he's not just a politician, but he's a professional and a politician. So it will be a privilege to hear from him the opportunities that this Chinese Wuhan coronavirus is thrown at us. I know maybe BJP or the government does not want to use the word Chinese, but we intellectuals, we do have a right to name and shame China. We will stick to the point that it is a Chinese Wuhan coronavirus and nothing less. Friends, welcome to the call. And as usual, let me repeat the protocol. All the mics will be muted. Only my mic and Muraliji's mics will be on. He would speak for 20, 30, 40 minutes as much as, it's the floor is his. After he speaks, then yes, all of you can ask questions. But as is our daily routine, you would raise your hand, you would click on the hand raise button, and we would sequentially call you, unmute you. Please ask a question. Do not give a long, kind of a sentence, long kind of a lecture. His time is precious. So let us stick to the question and question alone, please. That is our humble request. After the question is asked, we'll mute you so that it doesn't get into conversational mode. So I hope we are all clear on this. We have also cut down the chat. So while he's talking, there is no cross disturbance. Thank you all for your cooperation. Muraliji, the floor is yours.
Namaskar. Thank you.
By the way, Muraliji, we have audience not just from Telangana, but from across the country, right? Even right from Shillong to Delhi to Bhopal, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, and some people even coming from abroad as well, from US and UK as well. So it's a splatter of a lot of people. So that's the reason why we are not going for Telugu. Thanks for that.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Giridharji has asked me, and I'm very happy to participate in this meeting. And for the last 25 days we have been doing. This is gift of Corona for you and for me and for everybody. Otherwise, we would not have been available for you to have this kind of everyday lecture series or discussion. So once again, all eminent persons who have done something and created space for themselves in different areas, they have assembled here in this video conference. This is a good occasion for me to sit and share, and through discussion, I can also get benefited. So once again, for the organizers, I express my gratitude for giving me an opportunity. Now, regarding COVID-19, you have know many things about this, so I need not repeat all those things. But few things which, for the benefit of my presentation, to make it easy, I am going to underline few things. Never mankind has faced this kind of confinement ever in the history. This is the first time happened. 210 countries and more. Everybody, whether in this continent or other continent, everybody is having this effect of Corona. Confinement, restrictions, lockouts, lockdown, and economy of the whole world has come to grinding halt. This has never happened in the history of the entire mankind. So you have to understand, 40 days, 50 days, and spillover maybe for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. we cannot say this will not have a deep impact on the future of the mankind. So this is first very important thing we have to understand. Second important thing I would like to say, still nobody knows. No vaccine is there, no medicine is discovered. So how long it is going to have this kind of grip over the mankind and its activities also, we are not definite. Some people are saying it is a W shape. It will go down and come up and again go down and again come up. Various theories are coming. So again, what I'm saying is we are not away from its impact and its consequences of the coronavirus. So this is a second important thing I would like to highlight. Now coming to important another thing is, for example, I was talking in Tamil Nadu video conference. Tamil Nadu elections we are going to have the next year. So it means Telangana, we do not have next year elections, or Andhra, we do not have next year elections. What I'm interested in saying here is, next year when I say elections, we may not be able to have even to organize a 10,000 meeting or 1 lakh gathering as we usually do in the political mobilization. For the next 1 year, I don't think it is possible to have 10,000, 50,000 public gathering either for protest or for positive celebration. It is impossible in coming days. So it means new way of mobilization, new way of technology utilization is going to take place in this country and in every other country. So when I say this, now there will be new ways of activity and handling the lives and the various spheres is going to happen. So technology in this whole thing has a major role. For example, now we are able to have video conference. It is because of the infrastructure we have and platforms we have. Now the limitation is, for example, Education HRD Ministry is consulting various organizations what is going to happen for the next academic year education, which is going to start in June. Because you cannot run the buses with 50 capacity bus, 50 people sitting inside bus. Or you have constructed a classroom where you are expected to accommodate 30 people, 40 people, and you cannot run the class the way you used to run. So when such thing is there, and online classes, it may not be possible because you have an infrastructure deficit even today in many areas, in many sections. So, but these are the constraints. But even that constraints, now new challenges are going to come in front of every government that, technology enabled society. We have to go for that. So fast enabling ourselves is going to be the challenge. This is one I would like to highlight. Now coming to another important time, health infrastructure. Previously, it was not part of the mainstream political debate and discourse. But next immediate elections, anywhere you see, now no society, whether literate society, illiterate society, educated, uneducated, poor or rich, everybody will be occupied with the subject of discussion. What is the health infrastructure which a political party is promising? Because primary health center to super specialty hospital, now in coming days, this society cannot afford to ignore these issues. So in coming days, two issues are going to become very important. One is cleanliness and another is health infrastructure and health issues, health related issues. So this is the gift of COVID and Corona, because now everybody is conscious and everybody is discussing about that. And 24 hours into 7, it is the discussion. So the impact on the society will definitely, these two things are going to become. Now, having said this, now coming to the economic aspect, globally, you have America now suffering a lot from the COVID. You have Europe now suffering a lot from the COVID. The death rate, mortality rate is very high. Spain, Italy, France, and Canada All these countries have a lot of problems, and America. So fortunately, we do not have. But pre-COVID America and post-COVID America, pre-COVID Europe and post-COVID Europe, and pre-COVID world and post-COVID world definitely will be different. You cannot have the identical situation in coming days. In any aspect, security aspect, or the security theories have to be redefined, and economic aspects also you have to restructure and reform, and you have to equip yourself, and technology aspect also you have to change and accordingly. So all these things now are going to get defined in a different way and in a different orbit. Now, even the definition of security in terms of conventional weapons and unconventional weapons we used to discuss. So after COVID, now you will not have the security definition of 2019, 2014 applicable to 2020. So all these issues are going to now become changed. This I would like to announce. Now, coming to the point, India. In this whole crisis, India's preparation, I would like to highlight two things. Modi ji's government going for a decision of lockdown, locking down, and going for the decision of social distancing of this kind. 130 crore people and putting into lockdown. You know, whether you are able to imagine, understand or not, I do not know. But it requires a great courage. It is not very easy decision. You know, putting, now everybody is realizing, now everybody is appreciating. But when the decision was taken, 130 crore people with diverse political parties and ideologies, it would have, it was not an easy thing. So Modi ji's government has taken the decision. And second important thing which I want to share is, this is a Indian government, is a federal government. You have central government, you have state government. Both these governments in the history of Indian, after independence, have shown a different type of chemistry, which has never happened in the past. There is no problem, there is no friction. There may be some friction between West Bengal and central government, but all over the country, irrespective of parties, ideologies, politics, and leaders, everybody is able to combine and give a united fight, and everybody is able to accept what central government is saying. Here, I would like to highlight one more thing. Accepting the protocols by Home Ministry, accepting the direction by the Prime Minister, sometimes when it comes to the rule-based, you can understand. But even accepting lighting of the lamp, even accepting ringing the bell, political Chandrababu Naidu, he is nowhere, he's not a chief minister, he's not part of India, he's not associate of BJP. He's also participating in these things. So what I am interested in saying is, we have created a new model of governance where for the long period of 40 days and 60 days, we can function together, forgetting all these political differences, and give a united fight to face the corona war. So this is a new dimension. Why I am saying this is not just to highlight this is a success story. I am interested in is, this will have implications for the future strategies. This united approach, it has got a future implications. Once it is done, it can be done repeatedly, and it can be done for a longer period of time also, if objectives are clearly pronounced and defined, and there is a communication between the leadership and the people at large. If that is there, then everybody will fall in line. This success story has demonstrated that. So it has a future consequences. That's why I have mentioned this. Now, after all these things, definitely in coming years, now this is a challenge. We had disruption for the economy in the form of GST. GST was not a small disruption. Now after GST, now we are able to reconcile everything, and the whole country is coming into a track. But now this corona disruption, and the whole world economy is nosediving, and so India cannot be immune from that. So now in this situation, we have challenges as a civilization. We have challenges and as a country, as a nation, we have challenges. How to re-employ and how to restore the normalcy of this 130 crore people, and how to give the employment for the, the workforce we have. We have rural workforce, we have urban workforce, and we have educated workforce, and we have young workforce joining every year. So next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, how you are going to create employment for this? This is a challenge before the nation. And the challenge number two, we are not a country with lot of surplus and lot of fats with us. We are not a fatty country. We do not have the surplus, accumulated surplus for the 50 years. We do not have. So like China, the 20 years, it has got a good growth rate and it has surplus. So in such a situation, when surplus is not there, then there will be a greater challenge of capital need for India's growth. This is again a very important and critical challenge. How you are going to address the capital? Because small industry needs the capital, agriculture requires the capital, and every sector. For example, in coming years now, tourism, and I tell you, it is a scary thing. The Hyderabad hotels and restaurants where you used to sit 200 people, 300 people sitting and having the dosha or biryani or anything. Maybe next 6 months we will not be able to see. 300 people sitting and consuming the biryani in the common place may not be possible. So what does it mean for restaurant owners? What does it mean for the hotel people? What does it mean for 5-star, small star, 3-star? So hotel and restaurant business from there, and education. For example, I told you how they are going to cope up with the classroom, the transport, and the requirements. So all these things will, for next 6 months will have the impact. In such a situation, problems may be many, problems are plenty, but the common factor which re-energizes everything is capital, and capital in the form of credit, or capital in the form of working capital, capital in the form of R&D, whatever you take. So capital is going to be the important challenge for the country and its leadership. So what I am saying is, now the employment creation, and the second, this capital requirements, and third, how you are going to run your activities, enabling the society with the technology, and technology utilization has to grow. So how to make the people to learn fast and adapt to the situation. So these are going to be challenges inside. Now, as I said, India's security definition will have to change. In a COVID like a situation, India's security situation, it is very easy to think, hydrochloroquine becoming a goodwill ambassador for India and earning goodwill for India. Have you ever thought this will happen? Paracetamol will become a goodwill ambassador for India to earn goodwill all over the world. Have you thought anywhere? But these things are only for short term. Immediately, to maintain our goodwill and to participate in the global efforts, we have ambitions because of our size of 130 crores and our size of economy, our civilizational superiority, all these things, we have ambition to participate in global activity. But have we equipped ourselves to take part in terms of our capacity to aid and participate in aid and development of different countries? Have we acquired? So all these things are going to take, role. And in the technology also, we have to become a leader. So at the global level also, security to developmental politics, we have challenge, but the time is not waiting for us. The COVID has accelerated that time, this thing. So now in this game-changing aspects, now we are. This is a serious crisis, and this is a very serious crisis, but we have some advantages. Advantage one, we are now leading the country with a deep commitment and a greater cadre which has spread all over the country. Never happened in the history of the country. Post-independent also, Congress was not so much organized with this kind of cadre. So this kind of cadre, committed, dedicated for the development of this thing. and spanning to all spheres of human activity. We have a committed cadre. This is one advantage. Advantage number two, we have leadership whose goodwill is enormous now. I am not talking about only Honorable Prime Minister. The entire leadership, whether it is political, social, spiritual, religious, leadership is broadly acceptable and have got the goodwill. This is the second advantage we have got. And third advantage we have got, Indian youth is very patriotic now compared to any time. After freedom movement and during freedom movement, we had this kind of time. But after that, now this is the time where Indian youth are more patriotic. I'm not talking about fringe elements, exceptions, and this malcontents and irritants. I'm talking about largely the youth. They are, more patriotic and they want to see India up again. So these are the advantages we have. And we also have certain other advantages. One is the political democracy, a functioning and a vibrant democracy we have. And because of vibrant democracy, development cannot be the monopoly of very few. Because of the democracy, if prosperity has to be there, in India, it has to be shared prosperity. Without shared prosperity, you cannot have a vibrant democracy. Unshared prosperity and vibrant democracy cannot go together for a long time parallelly. So this is the whole thing. In this situation, my dear friend, now this is the broad framework I have discussed. But in coming days, now definitely economic challenge is going to how we are going to revive our industry, and now blessing in disguise. For example, internally we have discussed, previously we were not manufacturing PPEs. Previously we were not manufacturing the ventilators. Today, because of COVID-19, now 14 companies have come and permission is given and production started, and Indian manufacturing companies are in the race. So we are improving our capabilities. So this is only a health issue. I am talking about the larger issues in coming days. We have to, this industrial manufacturing base has to be strengthened by all means. And we are, that is the challenge, and that is going to be the advantage. And second advantage, again, the challenge come advantage is agriculture. After COVID, this agriculture, we have to play a major role all over the world, our agriculture, because this kind of deltas, no other country has got so many deltas. Gangetic Delta, Godavari Delta, Krishna Basin, Kaveri Delta, and this kind of deltas are this alluvial soil, fertile soils. Nowhere in the world, so many. So we can feed the whole world. This is a strength for India, not in terms of food security, but in terms of global diplomacy. So why I am saying all these things is, now this is a challenge and this is an opportunity, and the central government under the leadership of Modi ji, and so backed up by the entire nation's social leadership, first time this leadership has got backing of entire social leadership. So with this, enormous goodwill is there, enormous ambition is there, and definitely it is a very serious challenge. We have certain advantages, but we have certain bottlenecks and some crippling tendencies also. We have to overcome, but we cannot forego this opportunity to play a role at the global level after COVID-19. This is what I would like to, in a positive way, I have combined everything. Thank you for the opportunity for introducing the subject.
Thank you, Murliji. Thanks a lot for your initial remarks, especially trying to focus on the positivity of otherwise a very gloomy and a very sad situation for the whole world. But I'm sure you would have also have factored some challenges that are going to come by, right? In terms of, it could be the social challenges like what we are seeing, the so-called Islamophobia, being unleashed on India from Pakistan, from Arundhati Roy, and from some handles in UAE. I think a whole cabal is trying to be built up. There are certain elements which are trying to disrupt the India story. That is a serious challenge for us. And of course, the external challenge in terms of China trying to see that all economies are heavily dependent on Chinese economy, and they won't allow India to do something which is against their growth. You know, these challenges are there. I'm just throwing one or two examples. Probably you would have factored some of these challenges, and if you could tell what's the roadmap, of course, government would do what it has to do. But as civil society, as NGOs, nationalistic organizations, and intellectuals, how do you think we should be geared up to handle the challenges that come up with this kind of an unprecedented situation?
Girishji, here when I answer your question, I want to use my practical experience, which I have encountered when I was student leader. I was fighting against Naxalites. I was in Usman University, and first I worked in Warangal. And, you know, at that time in Delhi, or in the entire country, nobody was aware of Naxalites, and Naxalites were spoken as patriots. And they were spoken as the real patriots. And person like Arun Shourie was the Indian Express editor. He was not with the ideology of rightist or nationalist philosophy. Afterwards, he became. He was one of the important activists of PUCL. And George Fernandez and such leaders were also active. So we as a team, led by me, prepared a dossier on Naxalites activity and went to Delhi and spent a week getting an appointment to meet and to convince each and every important person to show what they were actually. You know, we could not succeed. Really, I'm telling, I was, distressed at that time. These people are not able to see what they are talking about. Like that, but we opened a window for them. Now, afterwards, what happened, you have seen. After 10 years, 20 years, you have seen. What I'm saying here is, before COVID-19, how many people were aware of Tablighi Jamaat? How was Indian people's opinion? How many? I'm not talking about important people who are tracking. I'm talking about the general masses.
Yeah.
Now you go to any village, and even RSS or Prajna Bharati or any other organization, if you had spent 100 crores or 200 crores and organized 2,000 programs or 2 lakh programs, you would not have created this awareness about Tablighi Jamaat among the people of this country. Now, nobody may be openly criticizing formally, but everybody has understood what is the role of Tablighi Jamaat in COVID-19. It is not about the coronavirus, affliction. The problem is the attitude, the mindset, the worldview. Now everybody has understood. So what I am interested in here saying is, things are getting exposed slowly, and in Indian revival story, no community has the veto over India's growth, over India's development. Nobody has the veto to do, to undo the thing. When we were having the freedom movement before, for independence, a community was having a veto, and Britishers were asking, you go and convince them. Unless you convince them, you will not give. That kind of veto they were wielding. Today and tomorrow in future, no organization and no community will have exclusive veto to stop the onward march of India. This is the first important thing. And in this COVID crisis, these organizations and these attitudes, normally everybody is seeing Muslim leaders, Muslim intellectuals, Muslim iconic figures, they should have appealed. It is not a Modi's virus. It is not a Modi's creation. Everybody knew. So what OIC was doing. So in coming days, I know what you are talking about, social problems and all. But in my view, these things do not hold that kind of strength which they were wielding at some point of time.
Hopefully there'll be a lot of social harmony. Let's hope so. Let's hope that there's some sense will prevail in the future as well. How do you see, I mean, just before we start the question answer session, how do you view the international scene? There is a lot of talk that a lot of companies from China are going to move out because Chinese story has taken a strong hit. People are not convinced with China, or there are issues with regard to Chinese quality. Even now when they're shipping equipment, a lot of them are turned out to be quality is very wrong, very bad. In fact, India also suffered some of the poor quality material they sent now. So how do you view, most of the industries are going to Vietnam, Korea, Philippines, but very few are coming to India. So how do you view this opportunity coming out of Chinese story going bad?
Here, again, very important aspect. India is a democratic country. Normally, the process of beginning anything may be slow, but it will be steady. And finally, it will be successful. Now, investment issue. China's goodwill, China's acceptability, and China's capacity to convince anybody before COVID-19 and after COVID-19, there will be a change. And everybody knows it. And the Western Europe and Europe after COVID, and America after COVID, all other countries and even African countries, the behavior and the attitude is completely different. Now, but coming to the point, here there are two issues. Immediately as a BJP person, General Secretary, for example, I am in charge for Karnataka. Now, I have spoken to different chief ministers also, other states. Immediately a task force is constituted by different, Uttar Pradesh government has created a task force, and Karnataka government has created already a task force, and different governments are now in the forefront. Telangana is also talking about creating that. So how to attract all those companies which are interested in shifting their base? And that shift, thinking of shifting is not a superficial thing and not a temporary thing. It is a permanent, and it is going to have that kind of result. So we have to prepare the ground to create that kind of win-win formula for the investor and India both. So these things now immediately, governments are seized, they have seized the matter, and they are now in the job. And already bureaucracy is put into the work in various states. And even the central government is also working and guiding the state governments to look into this matter as soon as possible. So this is going to have results in future.
Sure. I think let's open it up for question and answer. Deepak Sharma ji, please go ahead, sir.
Murli ji, thank you for a wonderful broad view on the technology-enabled society and all the kinds of health and infrastructure the country is going to have. And I remember you since the days of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. And definitely we are fortunate to have the leader like Modi, who took the decision to put the country on a right path. My apprehensions are what we were doing when in the 1990s we were signing with the WTO and GATT. And right. China was preparing their capacity to become the world manufacturing hub, and they did it. During the past 5 years, or rather more specifically since 2014, the trade deficit with India and China has gone to 5 times. And the investment of Chinese in India is again 5 times. So these are the 2 major threats. And I don't find any action by the union government. This is one question which I would like to ask you. Another is, this is again, after the 20-30 years time, the opportunity is towards, is for the India. If the mindset of the bureaucracy and the government, or rather the policy hurdles can be removed, then the Indian entrepreneurship is there to take the opportunity for the global requirements. You very rightly mentioned the manufacturing of the PPE. No, not a single company was manufacturing a single unit. Now it is a 1 lakh capacity. It is all by the SMEs. So I think these barriers has to be removed. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, in this, the clarity about China, is it audible, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So clarity about China, leadership was having at the top level, but circumstances and preparation and the context also was needed. And for example, now immediately Home Ministry and central government has issued the guidelines, and afterwards the government also has taken that hostile takeover is stopped. Means, you know, China is not allowed to use the space and opportunity to get into the takeover game in India. Definitely, you have to understand Indian government, particularly under BJP's leadership, under Modi ji's leadership, when we came 2014, the problems were different, and today the problem is different. And when the WTO was formed, the problem was also different. Now, in coming days, you will not have a globalization drive of that kind today with in the world. Leave about India. Even multilateralism is already got killed. WTO nowhere now. WTO is not live. It is only the paper organization now. For the salaries also they have to think about. So it is not able to move the trade decisions. So in my view, our clout at the global level, politically and also otherwise, has increased in the last 4 years very rapidly. And that is going to become a very important advantage in our war or in our role playing. So my view is, here it is not just leader in sense or a party. The entire chain have now said no, social backing of that leadership or that party and that kind of system you were not having earlier. Today the entire society is in one line. The people who are creating problems, they are now frustrated and they have some results, some impact, but they are not dominant now, neither ideologically dominant nor politically dominant. So in coming days, the India's growth story at the domestic level and at the global level definitely will be different from the past. This is I think in a very broad as a framework is enough. And in our Indian success story, you have to understand in the manufacturing base or anywhere, small and medium, forgetting them and thinking of creating a success story for India will never happen. So in coming days, this is going to be an important bulwark of our growth story.
Fine, thank you.
Murliji, one request from, I'm sure maybe BJP's also put up a request to the finance ministry, and probably even finance ministry is thinking in those lines, but there is a request which came from our institute, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, is to ask the finance ministry to postpone the year-end closing, give a 3-month extension. 31st March closing should be pushed. What is happening is a lot of CEOs are putting pressure on their accounts teams and audit teams to close it before April 30th, while we are still in the lockdown. I think that's a cause of concern. That's an area where no clarity has come from the ministry till now. That is urgently.
Even in our discussions within the party at the top level also, such things have come. Yeah. And there is no negative or resistance to that. The only thing is government in our system has a process, and things are in the process. Even certain other decisions also. For example, we have multiple institutions. Certain things RBI has to take, we cannot take. So RBI has to be convinced and put into the system. So all these things are going on, and what you have said is also there on the table.
Fine, fair enough. Because there is a lot of panic going on in the institute and members of the institute. So I thought I'll bring it to your notice. Yeah. Next is Sri Vinod Rankaji.
Very good evening, Girdharji and Muralidharji. I am a businessman from Hyderabad having interest in IT, chemicals and mining. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So the issue here is that though post COVID-19, we are looking at a new world order, and India is placed very nicely to take or welcome whatever growth we can into the economy. But right now the situation is that whatever the capital flow is required for the entrepreneurs, especially in the MSME segment, to grow, is though the government is giving it up, but the same is not coming down to the MSME entrepreneurs. The banking sector, which is controlling the entire system, and the government is giving the impetus to bank to ensure that the entrepreneurs are supported, but that is actually not happening. One recent example I would like to share. Recently, the repo rate was reduced by 0.75%, but only the banks have still not reduced.
Rankaji, I know that, you know, everybody knows here. What I want to say is, you know, RBI has intervened 2 times to infuse the capital and improve the liquidity ratio or liquidity with the banks. You know, the final objective, the ultimate objective for the RBI intervention or the government's pushing is only one, that how to increase the capital at the disposal of the client, at the disposal of entrepreneur. This is the only objective. Otherwise, why we should take a decision, why RBI should take a decision? There should not be any ambiguity or doubt in that. And what you have said is also correct. So far, banks have, you know, cushioning their, you know, the situation, and they are not, you know, percolating, allowing the percolation to come down. But ultimately, the objective will not be allowed to get defeated. Once you reach this lift lockout situation is going to be, you know, become flexible, and once small scale industries and other industries are going to start functioning, before that all these things have to reach, and leadership is completely aware of this, and this feedback is also coming that banks so far have not facilitated, and in that there is no second opinion, and government has to push it, and there is no other thinking on part of the government. This will happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Ashok Baldaji, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Girdharji, Muralidharji, namaste. Muralidhar garu, I have sent one mail to you after that Zoom meeting of 9th April. And I have given about 9 points, you know, for your examination, for the government examination. If you have gone through that mail, it is all right. But otherwise, I would like to come out with 1 or 2 points out of that.
Yeah, you can talk about 1 or 2 points, but all mails, whichever we have received, we have given into a team within the party, which is processing and putting before the finance ministry.
Right. Now, in continuation, I would like to say that we are very, very lucky that our capital infrastructure is in order. There is no dismantling. It is only, the point is that pumping the money into the hands of the industries and the other sectors. Now, Reserve Bank of India issued a circular on 27th March. There are term loans and working capital structure. The term loan, they said that installment is deferred, but the interest has to be calculated, and after 3 months, it has to be paid. What my suggestion is, even though the money is required, let us keep this money with the MSME. This interest accrual can be restructured and can be repaid in easy installments. Since I'm a banker, I'm telling you that this can be done. At the same time, in a working capital also, I'm just reading that in a working capital limit, the structure also.
Sir, can you be brief, because we'll have to ask others also.
Sir, my suggestion, Ashok ji.
Yeah.
Ashok ji.
Yeah.
my suggestion is, you have given different suggestions, and like for example, you have given the interest part, how to go for without losing anything, both win-win formula for the both small industry and banker. My suggestion for all of you, all important people who have experience and expertise in any area, my suggestion for you is, there can be multiple things. These are the small issues you can always tell, and government is very seriously considering all those proposals, because nobody wants at this point of time an entrepreneur to get crippled on account of capital or on account of the government administration. Everybody is interested now overcoming all the problems and strengthening the entrepreneur and promoting the entrepreneur, because entrepreneur's interest is his self-interest, but his self-interest is in the national interest today for the government. So there is no second opinion for that. So you have any ideas, please send to me or to finance minister, anybody. Things are considered and it is in the war mode. Now coming to another important thing, I would like to invite all of you is, sir, if I have money, how to arrange that money, there are various suggestions. And if I have no money, how to postpone it or how to restructure it, there are various suggestions. Now in coming days, how to raise money, you have any idea on that also, please come with the suggestions. Raising the money is also, because global markets, what is their position? Our Indian market, what is its position? Our unaccounted money, what is its unaccounted money, what is its position? All these things. Please come with the suggestions. We are ready and we are going to have interaction on this count also.
Why they're using Zoom now?
1 second, sir. I think there's some problem. We'll mute everybody and then come back. There's some issue. I think some calls got unmuted, so we had some noise disturbance. I think we have muted them all now. Next is Sudhindra Putti ji. Please go ahead, sir.
Murli ji, namaste.
Namaste.
What would be the government's response going ahead on its relations with China, particularly on the commercial and economic front? And the second is, I'm sure the government is working up with some concrete action plan on the economy to tide over in the short to mid term. So just wanted to understand your thoughts on that, sir.
So the immediate, for the government is the immediate challenge is how to, kickstart the economy, how to activate the economy and industry and other sectors of economy. This is going to be the very immediate challenge, because social distancing and other things have not died down. They are even today relevant and immediate future also relevant. Till we get a complete assured situation, maybe on account of vaccination, maybe on account of something else, these things are not going to go away. So in that situation, for the government is only today, tomorrow, is how to see the normal, means at least workable life. So one step by step. On that, now we have data generated everywhere about COVID-19 positives, about mortality, about hospitalization, and all these things. The data is every day generated. What are the districts, green zones, what are the amber zones, and what are the red zones are also identified. So within that zone, how much transportation can be allowed, how movement can be allowed. So government of India is now solely focused on, first it was saving lives. Now how to start the activity is the immediate focus. Long-term plan
long-term strategic things are now have not occupied the mind of the government, please. Now, this is second thing. And third, important issue is how to, for example, fulfill the, the health needs, whether it is PPEs or medicines or ventilators, all those supplies immediately, how we can meet within the country. So every, government, every important is involved in that. Now, for example, agriculture, agriculture in India is a very big size. 50% of the population is depending on that. Now, agriculture is made free. Now, villages are free. And for villages, inputs and output, both, whether agriculture output, whether inputs for agriculture, everybody made free in the transportation. Now, transport app is created. So, government is working on, all those things. So, immediately, the short-term future only government is focused now how to become successfully, protected from the COVID-19 and with minimum damage, how we can get into the normal activity. This is the sole focus of government. And there may be think tanks, there may be serious other groups, they are working on the long-term proposals and all, but government has not started yet focusing on those things. Those things will come after only 2-3 months.
Thank you, sir.
Even we are not thinking in terms of China at the global level. So we are not talking, if you carefully follow, we are not talking. Everybody is talking, but we are not. Giridharji is fully, free and allowed in this democratic country to talk, to create opinion first before we take a decision.
Thank you, sir. Next is V.V. Lakshminarayan Garu.
Yeah, Namaskaram Muralidhar Rao garu. Finally, because of COVID, we could meet through web conference. We thought of meeting, but finally it happened today. Actually, my question I was asking, because you have already answered. This thing is pre-COVID, the contribution to the GDP from the agriculture manufacturing was 15, 30 and 55. I thought of asking you how it is going to change in the post-COVID, but you said the government is right now concentrating only on the immediate. But in the long-term measures also, think tanks have been formed and they will be doing it. That's what you said. And the question I wanted to ask you is that how the raw material mindset of India needs to be changed into finished product mindset. Because I compared the imports and exports from India and China. What we are exporting to China is cotton yarn, iron ore, refined copper, leather, vegetable fats and oils. What we are getting as imports are telephone sets, semiconductor devices, data processing machines, all those things. So basically, in the long run, this thing is we need to switch over to the manufacturing side where you mentioned about the MSMEs also. So that is how the overall thinking has to be done. I thought, you have already answered this. Yeah, thank you.
Lakshmanji, for everybody's benefit, I want to share one experience. What you have said is known and is correct. A year back, I went to South Korea and in a delegation representing BJP and government. There I went to one company for a visit, a steel manufacturing company. There, rolls and rolls were there, raw material. I asked where from you are importing these rolls, iron raw, steel rolls. All of them are coming from India.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they made me to see many things, and finally I went to the final product, Lux Steel and other things. Okay. And now they have prepared even these, colored walls in the steel, even for the houses. So they made me to see. I asked, which are the countries buying now your finished products? Then the major country they are buying is India. So you can understand the whole raw material we are sending it to Korea and we are taking back from them. I asked, why don't you establish a company there instead of taking these things here and again sending them back? Then, of course, they are interested in creating a joint venture and all, they spoke to me. So what I'm saying is, all these are the superficial, outward appearances. The inside is lack of ambition, lack of discipline, and lack of purposeful leadership. When I say purposeful leadership, I'm not talking about only about, at the level of Delhi, central government, prime ministership, or chief ministership. Leadership is, it is everywhere. So, we need to create a focused leadership with a clearly defined ambition for India as a nation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Next, can I call Ekambar Rao Garu? Ekambar Rao ji, please go ahead.
Hi, Muralidhar ji. First thing which I would like to...
Little louder, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
See, first one is about raising the capital. What I have been observing is since last almost from 1990s onwards, government has been with a psychological problem of understanding the finances and how to raise the psychological problem of fixing themselves into a constraints of we don't have capital, we are short of capital, and all those things. And these are all things actually exposing that there's a short of expertise with the government and the people sitting there to define, how to raise capital and how to build assets and how to increase valuations, and as per that, how to increase liquidity. This is one of that. The second one is, which I have been seeing very very disappointing, is all the government, everybody, whether it is the whole behavior and operations of government has always been like brokering. Just now you have mentioned that people going to South Korea and getting products from there, or asking those companies to come here and manufacture, instead of promoting and searching for the local technical expertise and give them the strength and the they can blossom themselves by using their whole technology and their own knowledge and skills, and become an entrepreneurs and become a big companies can be grown like that. I mean, that is the same way how.
Ekambar Rao Garu, can you please stick to the question, please?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like why these two things have been paralyzing the whole economy. Like one is you are constrained yourself that your elusive numbers are you are limiting yourself and you are considering yourself as very limited. The second one is you are not even respecting your own R&D. I mean, local Indian R&D, or you are not even searching for it or building a platform. So what exactly you want to do? Where you want to drive?
Thank you.
Sir, for raising capital, at times we have come out with ideas. Sometimes we have succeeded. Sometimes we have not been able to. For example, when whole world put the sanctions on us, led by America after Pokhran II, Atal Bihari Vajpayee has created resurgent bonds. And at that time, defying the sanctions, and the people stood with us, and we have been able to mobilize the money more than what we required. And at times, we succeeded. Sometimes, we wanted to monetize the gold, gold as a reserve, but we have not been able to succeed. So like that, my suggestion is, I'm not getting into the discussions now in this conference about which way and which scheme is going to be successful. I have just floated one thing, which is going to be important concern for the country. So if anybody has got any idea on this subject, this can be a source of strength. You can raise this way funds in this critical situation. So definitely these ideas are going to be very important, and within government and outside government, these ideas will be taken seriously. So this is what I wanted to tell, and we are already in that process.
Thank you, sir. Muraliji, see, I was approached by one unique problem. There is a Ayurvedic hospital or treatment in Tamil Nadu who have actually treated Prince Charles. Can you hear?
Sir, I also listen, and that our minister also has treated and this and that.
Yeah.
So, but for this, when it comes to, for treating it is easy. But
so,
when it comes
hear my question out, sir. What happened is Prince Charles is actually given a certificate that he has benefited from this and is healed out of it. Now, when these people approach that our process should be recognized to the Ayush department said we don't have powers, you have to go to ICMR. And ICMR is not recognizing any other school of medicine other than allopathy. So there is a problem. We have created Ayush, which is not going to be allopathy, but Ayurveda and Unani and homeopathy is not getting the due recognition under ICMR or that kind of an organization. Maybe some thought should go through, and maybe BJP could suggest to the government to try and de-link these two.
This is a very important thing, but I don't say that ICMR is wrong in doing that, because they follow certain protocols which are decided. Unless we change protocol again by following certain process and scientific procedures, we cannot expect ICMR to take ad hoc decisions. Ultimately, when something happens, then they will be in the dock. So I agree that Ayurvedic and homeopathic or other Indian medicines, now they should be considered when we formulate protocols.
Yeah.
No, I don't say there is no scientific protocol, appropriate protocol for those things. I don't agree with that. You can create. So now in coming days, we have to create those things.
Yeah. So that is a request that from your side, from the party side, maybe you should put up as one of the points that
I will work on that. This, we have to. It takes time, but we have to work on that. We have to create the new protocols.
Definitely, sir. Okay. Next, Shrikant ji, please go ahead, sir.
Namaste, Muridhar Rao garu.
Ji.
I am Shrikant from Hyderabad. I run a small scale industry. I have two questions, sir.
Yeah, please.
So one question is for existing MSMEs, if they want to diversify, would there be a provision of some special industrial clusters being allotted so that the land and other infrastructure can be taken by them on lease? Because it's not possible to procure everything on their own. That's my first question. And my second question is, what we have observed worldwide is during this period of lockdown, the environment has healed itself to a great extent. The pollution and other parameters have greatly improved. So exiting the lockdown, can we ensure that there is a continuity wherein the environmental protection is upheld? Thank you, sir.
No, regarding that cluster and the shifting to cluster, this thing, I cannot answer immediately because I don't know. I have to get into that, and possibility also we need to study, and we have to interact with MSME. Then only I can definitely say. Even taking a line, a stand on that, then I have to study personally. I am not aware. And the second thing is, environmental issue. Everybody is interested in maintaining the environment, higher level safeguards and all. And because of this now, activity has to come, lower the activity has created a good environment. So how to maintain it while maintaining the activity? Our concern is that, but there is all over the world, the discussion is going on, development versus environment. So we want environment and we also want development. Government, the problem is like a consumer. You have money in your pocket and you want to go to market and purchase certain things, and depends on your pocket depth. So if you don't have money, you cannot think of taking something which is very valuable and which is very important. Yet you have to survive. So you will take whatever is available and whatever is possible. So in the same way, even in the development market, technologies and other things are like that. And it should not cripple our survival or of sustainability. This is also an immediate thing is there and long-term thing is there. So governments have to balance these things, and definitely our government today is to the extent possible is interested in protecting the environment, and it is not for the depredation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And next is Balaji. Balaji Garu, please go ahead, sir. You have muted it at your end. Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah. Sir, namaskaram, sir. Balaji here.
Yeah.
Sir, మీరు ఇందాక నుంచి క్యాపిటల్ అంటున్నారు కదా, నాకు ఒక ఆలోచన
వచ్చింది. Can you ask in English, please? Because that will be
sure. Okay. Sir, you've been talking about the capital requirement heavily in this current post-COVID scenario. So we have so much of India's fund, or rather it's individuals, but it is India's fund which is lying down in the Swiss bank accounts. Why can't we call that? For example, 80%, 100 rupees unte. I mean, if there is 100 rupees, you get 80% of it today, acquire it, make the balance 20% legal, so that they themselves will bring it into the system. So that in entirety, you are getting 100 rupees into your system, no? Why can't we do that?
Theoretically, is nice in sound, but you just send it to me the details. Government is now interested in capital. So
exactly.
Let me. And we are interested in exploring all possible ways and means. Because
this is our money. This is our money.
And fair enough, Balaji.
Sir, I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you. Even if it is not our money, you can suggest me how to get the money. I'm not saying our money or outsider money or whatever it is. First, give me the suggestions and ways and means. All ideas are now going to be very important on this count, on this issue. Because capital is going to be the important issue for the next 2 to 3 years immediately. So, whatever the suggestions you have, please give the suggestions, and those suggestions will be studied.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hanumanluji, please go ahead, sir.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Ji, sir.
Namaskar, sir. Hanuman, sir. Sir, with regarding investment, there is no shortage of funds in India. Lot of funds are there, and you can see the deposits are increasing in banks and post office also. But that money is used for luxury expenditures, or we can say luxury, but not for investment in manufacturing sector or MSME, which requires a lot of working capital now. But all this money is used for expenditure. That should be diverted towards manufacturing, agriculture, infrastructure, skill development. That will help a lot in the long run, sir. But not for expenditure in luxury villas, luxury expenditure. The banks are giving free loans to luxury vehicles, luxury villas, and credit cards. And this is multiple loans that they are giving instead of giving to for the manufacturing sector, sir. That can be done by the government. Only government can do that. No, Reserve Bank also not interested. Banks will not follow Reserve Bank guidelines. That is a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Now somebody has written in the chat box that donation. Why you are asking for donations? Let there be capital with the people. Okay, sir. Donation with me is also capital.
Yeah, I mean, the terminologies can be different. Ultimately, where it goes is what matters. Whether we're going to blow it on the...
Donation is not a substitute for the capital, sir. Donation is just a marginal thing for the immediate service activities.
Yeah, true. Thank you, sir. GS Murthy Garu from Vizag, please go ahead, sir. Professor Murthy Garu, please go ahead, sir. Sir, we can't hear you. Murthy Garu, we can't hear you. There's some problem with your mic, it looks like. We'll come back to you, sir. Next is Chandraji. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, we are good in software industry and IT, but very poor in hardware industry. Yes, China is very strong in hardware industry. So post-COVID, so government has any proactive measure to attract hardware industry from China, rest of the world?
There's a lot of voice disturbance was there.
Yeah, there is voice disturbance.
What exactly he asked?
Maybe
China and post-COVID.
Yeah, post-COVID, do you have a good opportunity for hardware industry from China and the rest of the world? We are very poor in hardware industry.
He's talking about hardware industry post China virus.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Priority sectors now after this, post COVID, we naturally the priority sectors and in terms of the engineering industry, manufacturing sector, we are going to, as a nation, we have to formulate and we have to strategize. So there cannot be a second opinion. For the next 6 months, I am telling you, or at least for 3 to 4 months, the entire government's focus will be to bring this country to the normal position. Activity first.
Fine, thank you.
Because we are a democratic country. Public opinion is the most. Don't think that we have got vote and we have got the mandate and we are there for 5 years. Don't think like that. Unless public opinion is in favor of you, running the government will become very difficult. With the people support only you can run. So now focusing on, it's not China. In China, even till date, nobody knows how many people are killed or dead.
Yeah.
So that can take place in China, but we cannot. So in such a situation, public opinion, carrying the public mood and the public support is very, very important. So in this context, saving the lives and bringing them to the minimum normal time.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Next is, I think we'll try with Professor Murthy Garu if it's okay. Murthy Garu, please try, sir. Please, let's see if your voice is okay. Yeah, Murthy Garu, please talk. No, sir, it's not working. It's not working. I think there is an issue with that. We'll see. Thank you. Next is Sunil Kitkaru. Sunil ji, please go ahead.
Yes. Namaste, Murli ji. My 3 queries are there. One is about the Make in India and Swadeshi after COVID-19 post.
Becoming more relevant, sir. Huh? Becoming more relevant, sir.
Not very relevant. But the MNCs will come in the large number, na?
No, not necessary. Sir, I am telling you, sir, I am telling you, no MNC is so powerful to eat any. No, it is not 91. 91 also they could not do. In 91 they wanted to do. 91 globalization drive and that situation, that strength of MNCs and that political and economic combined strength of the America and Western Europe. In that situation today, even at the global level, it is not there. I am telling you. So even after COVID, Western economies or Western companies are not in the position and not with that political clout. So they need us and we may need them. So it will be a true partnership and on our terms and conditions only. It is not that you will be begging and they will be giving.
Yes.
They need India, not less than you need them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. I think Murli ji, we'll close it with last 2 questions probably. I know you have to go. I was told, your time is running up. Maybe just a couple of questions and maybe next 5-10 minutes we'll close it. Venkatramana ji from Karimnagar, please go ahead, sir.
Murli ji, namaste.
Ji, namaste.
Ji, I have 2 questions. One is, having worked in Swadeshi Jagran Manch, I would like to ask you why our Indian industry is not able to manufacture small things like mosquito bats, nail cutters, pins, such things. Wherever we go to supermarket, we find those products are made in China. I don't find an Indian substitute for them. It doesn't require any technology to manufacture mosquito squatters.
Sir, you have answered your question.
Yeah.
It doesn't require any great technology to manufacture. So it is not the technology which is making them to go away from the manufacturing. When Indian scientists are able to send to Mangalayan or space or other grahas and manufacturing a toothpaste, manufacturing a soap is not possible, I don't think. Maybe they are not interested in manufacturing toothpaste or soap. They are only interested in manufacturing the Mangalayan spacecraft and all. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if, you know, manufacturing sector has taken the less attention. And, you know, before I was in Swadeshi, before Patanjali came in, there was no competition for Hindustan Lever.
Yeah.
Today, Hindustan Lever is now shown as place.
Yeah.
And now you come to, for example, sanitizer in this today, Patanjali sanitizer and Dettol sanitizers.
Yeah.
You know, if you see the price competition, now they cannot stand before Patanjali. I tell you the success story with whom I have worked, Jyoti Labs. This, this, you know, 2-drop story. This Ujala.
Yeah.
You all know Ujala. So these people have created wonders, and they have, you know, shown the place to multinational companies. It is not an impossible task. The point is, governments also have not encouraged adequately, and entrepreneurs and small scale entrepreneurs could not have gone because of that into FMCG. In coming days, you know, for your information, we are not able to manufacture shoes for the high altitude zone for the soldiers. They have been importing from the China. Our soldiers' shoes have been coming from those countries.
Okay.
I am not talking about the revolver. I am not talking about the gun.
Yeah, yeah.
I am talking about the shoe, socks. So you can understand. Now, in the last few years, the concern is really taking shift, and slowly it is acquiring the important place. And in coming days, now this COVID-19 will definitely create a kind of new kind of feel for the manufacturing sector in India. Now people and the country has realized and importance of the manufacturing sector.
Ji, can I ask one more question?
I think, can you be quick and brief?
Others, no, one more question.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Yeah. See, basically with interest rate at 10% and 23 regulations on your head, it is a big challenge for Indian manufacturers, sir. That is the reason why it is easy for them to import from China and just be traders. That is an area where government should focus on now. Reduce the compliances, and interest rate should be moderate.
Girdhar ji, I agree. You know, when I was young and I was flying, the plane charges, tariff was 10,000 to 12,000 to 15,000 to go to from Hyderabad to Delhi.
Yeah.
It has come down. So if it comes down, there will not be viability, was the thinking.
Yeah.
But coming down itself has created the viability. Okay, so you know, these things now government also is understanding, and in coming days, the first point is manufacturing sector is very important and strategically important for the country. This realization is slowly coming.
Fantastic.
And COVID also has helped.
Yeah, fantastic. So Dr. Rajbhaskar Reddy Garu is a president of Prajna Bharati Telangana. He's going to talk. He's going to ask. Dr. Garu, please go ahead, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Ji.
Thanks for giving us your time, valuable time. And there's only one question. What is the prospect of present government taking up, linking up rivers on a national level?
Rajbhaskar Reddy Garu.
Sir.
Linking of rivers is happening.
It's happening. Thank you. Sir.
It's happening. You know, you always say when Ganga and Godavari linked, then only it started.
That's.
So you should not start like that. You know, it will create a lot of problems and resistance, and you also don't know how to control it, and you also don't know how to manage it. But reverse linkage is now already started, you know, within the basin and inter-basin. And, you know, this has already started. Now, if you are carefully following, there is a discussion linking of Godavari with Kaveri.
Thanks.
And so all these things are happening in Andhra. Krishna river water is linked to some other river, and in Gujarat also Sabarmati is is getting the water from Narmada. There is a linkage of rivers now. It started, and in different states it is happening. First, central government is promoting the state governments to have within the state find out the options, and it is also now trying to help surrounding state, neighboring states to have this kind of understanding. So in certain places, these things are progressing. I don't say it is going with a accelerated speed, but it is going. And further impetus has to be given. I don't say that what your question is adequately already answered by the government. I don't say, but I am saying that in that direction we are traveling.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Amarchand ji, please go ahead. Yeah. I think you, Amarchand ji, you muted your. You'll have to talk. You'll have to unmute. Yeah, please talk. Yeah.
Namaste, Muralidhar ji, and everyone. For manufacturing sector to needs first market, and market is going to come with the post-China virus, and other requirements are resources. We are 130 crore population country, so resources are there, electricity is there, and finance, the capital that we were talking about. So yes, someone mentioned the corporates are going to banks for the capital, and most of the capital is taken by them either through, if we see the previous banks scams and all, so the money is not rightly utilized. Why can't can we make a policy that any corporate of certain turnover, they should raise the IPOs, they should generate money, raise the capital from IPOs, not from the banks. So this is one thing, so that what happens, even a middle class guy who is earning.
No, but what is your question, Amarji? Please let us stick to the question.
Yeah, my question is, can we make a policy or direction to the banks that not to give a big loans to the industries? Industry should raise the capital from the markets, not from the banks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. This is ultimately you have to blend the market and bank everything depending on the situation. You cannot create a blanket rule. But now, for your just knowledge, and I want to share one thing. Important thing is for India to become a leader. The important thing is capital is okay, but more than capital, technology is much more important.
Innovation and R&D is the.
So in that, there has been a study conducted by both Indian scientists and UK government. When we said, this third world countries, there was a proposal that among third world countries, there should be a trade, instead of depending on the developed countries. So then there was a argument. Okay, beggar and beggar. Sangam raskunte em raltadi, budide raltadi kada. All third world countries raskunte em raltadi, budide raltadi kada. Em untadani oka argument vachindi. Then based on that, India ganaka asalu is it in a giving position to any other country? Takers are so many, okay. But within the third world countries, if India is a leader, has India got any position to give, any position to share? This was the study subject between the UK think tanks and Indian think tank. And from India, Mashalkar was the member and important member of the team. So because I know all these things, because I interacted with all these people when I was Swadeshi Janmanch head. So I was studying all these possibilities. Then it was based on scientific evaluation. It was based on that. It was concluded India can be the leader. India can be the giver on many fronts. And India has that kind of technology and possibility, capabilities also it has. So this was the scientific study and the research study which was there. So I am not saying that everything we were capable or we are capable, but to begin with, we should not take that we are like any other pauper country. We have got cutting edge technologies in certain areas.
Thank you, sir. Ravi ji, please go ahead. Yeah, please speak. Yeah.
Sir, how do you rate our technology transfer policy when comparing to other countries?
Little louder, please.
You need to come to the mic, closer to the mic.
1 minute. 1 minute. How do you rate Indian technology transfer policy when compared to other countries, like cross-licensing or buying other licenses or joint ventures?
Sir,
how do
you have again disappeared? What happened to you?
Yeah, it is.
No.
Video
How
is
do you?
muted.
How do you? Video is muted, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Sir, I have not, this is a important and big subject. It requires a separate this thing. In that line, technology as a trade commodity, we have not focused very seriously. It is happening only in bits and pieces. We have not taken technology as a serious trade commodity. This is the most important thing. Unless you have that, you cannot have a serious, consistent, worked out policy. We are only doing based on the needs and requirements. We do not have a 360-degree comprehensive evaluated policy.
Okay, sure. It's almost 5:40 and we'll close it by 5:45, sir.
Sir, okay, Girdharji?
Just 5 minutes. So 5:45 will close, sir. It's 5:40. 5 minutes will close. Naveen Vanamji, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, we are facing the problem. One major issue is most of the bank loans, actually 80% of the bank loans are going for the big companies and the bank defaulters. We are the startup companies. Even there were so many Pradhan Mantri schemes are there without collateral. Even we are approaching them also, they are not giving for the startup companies. So banks are giving really for the above 50 crores or 100 crores companies and the defaulters only. So is it when we can solve this problem?
Thank you. I think he has addressed it to some extent, but then it's a repetition of a question. Anyway, please.
I don't agree that banks are favoring only big, but what you have said is correct. That startups have to be encouraged in order to make India a leader and technology leader. Unless, a game-changing aspect will only come through startups. And startups in India is the very important window to have leadership role in future in technology. So even if 10 experiments in that one succeeds, then also it is important and worth of taking up. So we need to focus as a government policy and as a investment policy. Startups, we have to work out on that. And personally, I am aware of these things and I am committed. Startups do have problem in this country.
Great. Thanks a lot, sir. That gives us comfort. Om ji, please go ahead. Yeah. Om Vadal Patla. Om ji, you are muted at your end. Yeah.
Namaskar, Muralidhar. This is I run a tech health technology company in the US and in India, Andy. So my question is regarding a stimulus package which the Republicans have just passed. It's both sides, bipartisan stimulus of $2 trillion, where they give liquidity to smaller businesses in the US. I also have an Indian concern in India. It's a health technology company. My interest is regarding liquidity for short term, in the short term. Does the Indian government plan any similar action to manage small businesses or startups to provide for payroll or working capital kind of stuff? For 3 months, the United States has done something similar. So that's one question. And the follow-up question to that is, if there is a need for movement of technology from US to India, and if India looks much more promising for people like me who live on both sides of the world, is it possible for the Indian government to provide me a platform to move my technology and potentially see India as a market, and also provide some kind of basis to start here?
Thank you,
sir. Sir, in this, I can only say so far, based on my experience, broadly, India is a destiny for people like you, means in this line. It's a philosophical statement. But when it comes to logistics and immediate policy implications, definitely Indian government has not acted on these things very seriously. So that is the reason shortcomings are there. But in coming days, definitely, and health sector and other sectors, Indian government has to focus, and it will focus. Then a remaining part in your case or your suggestion case, it needs to be pursued separately, and I can discuss only after understanding the technology and the kind of suggestion which you are giving, how and what kind of proportional contribution it is going to have. All these things I need to study, then I can definitely say.
Sure, sir. Thanks a lot. MP Ramarao Garu, I think we are almost running out on 1 minute and a half. Yeah, Ramarao Garu, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. 1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Sir. My name is MP Ramarao, sir. Muralidhar Rao, Asandarbha Pralap Ankoch Kani. How do you see the presence of Prashant Kishore in the Tamil Nadu elections which are going to be in the next year?
Sir, a Dravidian party is having a combination or alliance with Aryan person is good, no?
Well, this is not about politics, but then political question has come up. We wanted to keep the politician Muralidhar Rao away and more of a financial expert, but fine. That's okay.
So,
fine.
Girdharji, I know how to keep myself.
I know. No wonder you're succeeding in politics, sir.
Yeah. So, Ekambar Raoji, it is a, you don't see in the party terms, but DMK depending on an outsider is always good.
Okay, great. I think we'll make a last attempt to Murthy Garu, and if it works, fine. Otherwise, I think we'll close the. Murthy Garu, see if you can talk.
Sir?
No.
Girdharji?
Sir. No, I think Murthy Garu is, there's some problem with his mic. It's not working. I think we'll close it there, sir. As promised, it's Bank 5:45. Thanks a lot, Murliji, for giving us time this evening and sharing your valuable thoughts. And thanks to everybody who's been part of this Zoom call. I'm sure we have a lot of takeaways. And like what Murliji has suggested, if you have any concrete ideas and suggestions, kindly give a write-up, and you could send it directly, or you could give it to Pragya Bharati, and Pragya Bharati can consolidate and give it to him. And we have a CA forum also, which is a cell of Pragya Bharati, which is working on some of these ideas and some suggestions. Probably we'll present it to Murliji in a very short time. Thank you all so much, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow evening. And Murliji, a very big thank you to you for having spared this evening. Namaste to all of you. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.